So this is the existing version of my current BYD infotainment system. But with this existing version, what I can do is that I can connect my carlinkit, this carlinkit, to the BYD infotainment system using Apple CarPlay, and I get an Android-like experience in my car. So watch this video on the top right if you want to find out how to do it. However, many of you mentioned in my previous video comments that this carlinkit uses wired Apple CarPlay, and wired Apple CarPlay is no longer supported after this version 1.4 upgrade. I hope this is not the case, but we shall see later in this video. Hi everyone, welcome to another Sky Perspective video. So this is the major version 1.4 version upgrade, and let's have a look at all these features and optimization so that we know where to look for all the new features to play with after we upgrade. So the first one is EV Trip Charging Planner function. Looks like we can use the navigation system during long distance drive to plan where we are going to charge the vehicle. Number 2, app in BYD store. I'm looking forward to what new apps they are adding to the BYD store. Number 3, Google search function within navigation system. Yeah, it's about time they should add a Google search function within the navigation system. And then number 4 is preference settings for notification sound, adjustable across 3 levels. And number 5, the bottom navigation bar customization function. Yeah, I think in this version, these bottom navigation bar buttons can be customized. Number 6, lane departure assist switch convenience bar. So it seems like we can switch on and off lane departure assist on the convenience bar, wherever that is. Number 7, auto power on and off function. And number 8, added password to drive function to avoid theft. I like this one. This is good. Number 9, added automatic activation of low beam and position lights during nighttime. I'm looking forward to see what that is. So we'll go through the upgrade now, which it says is going to take 99 minutes. After we tap on the upgrade button, this is the first screen, which I believe it's downloading the upgrade software. And this screen stayed on for about 15 minutes. And then I get this screen, which I believe is doing the actual upgrade to the system. And this screen took about 40 minutes. By the time I come back after 40 minutes, the update has already completed, and it has turned off the screen. The first time I boot up, I'm made to acknowledge all these pages of disclaimers. Gosh, more disclaimers. I wonder if any one of us will ever read so many pages of disclaimers. But anyway, there we go. The new version 1.4 has been upgraded. Look at the taskbar. This looks good. So let's start with the most obvious one. The bottom navigation bar has lots of new buttons. So the air conditioning buttons is here, which is really easy for us to adjust the air conditioning. And tapping on the temperature, it will bring us to the aircon menu. And the home button is just right here. And all these buttons are actually customizable. So if we press and hold on any one of the buttons, it will bring up this customization menu. So for example, I don't turn on the demister most of the time. I can remove it, and instead I can bring in the ventilate only. And I've also discovered something. We can move the buttons across as well. So for example, we want the buttons to all come over here and the temperature to be on the most far left side. That's possible. Now, what I thought of suggesting is that the buttons gets pretty complicated when we have so many buttons at the bottom. What they should have done is they should have changed the color of these arrow keys and the temperature controls to be a different color. So very easily we can see where the aircon control is and where are all the other buttons, given that we can't change these aircon controls anyway. Now what I noticed is that apart from all these quick control buttons that we can swap onto the taskbar, we also have this apps menu. So for example, we can have navigation and phone apps to quick launch those two apps from the menu. For example, I can take away these two buttons and add the navigation and the phone button over here, which is going to be really convenient. Now, this is my carlinkit, and I think a lot of you will be waiting for me to answer this question. Does my carlinkit work after I upgraded the user interface to version 1.4? Have a look at this. It still works. However, there is something different now. So let's wait for the carlinkit to boot up and then I'll show you what's the difference. Okay, so now my carlinkit has been booted up and this is my Microsoft launcher that I have installed on the carlinkit. It looks different from the original native launcher, and if you want to see how I install this Microsoft launcher, have a look at this video on the top right. Now, the carlinkit still works, and I can also still go to my Play Store and download all the apps because my carlinkit is like an Android device. Now, something different that I noticed is that for YouTube, when I play the YouTube video, it goes to full screen straight away and I can't minimize it. So usually when I drag down, it will be minimized to the bottom like this. But now I can't play on the top left corner of the YouTube, if that makes sense. Normally there is another view where we can play the video on the top left and we can get the subscribe buttons and all the buttons and the comment. I don't get that view anymore. So what I suspect is that the YouTube app on the carlinkit thinks that we are using YouTube like on our phone, which is in landscape mode. In order to get that, we have to rotate to get all the subscribe buttons and so on. But there's no way I can rotate the screen because BYD don't allow us to run Apple CarPlay in portrait mode. Okay, let's move on to these two new features, which is to do with the navigation. I realized that the navigation app has been enhanced a lot. See, this is the first enhancement where we can search for the location that we want to go. For example, we want to go to Sydney from Brisbane. And have a look at this. It draws us a map and says that my seal won't be able to travel beyond this point because by then my battery would have run out and I need to plan where to charge my car. So this is one of the new features that they have mentioned in the release notes, saying that we can plan where do we want to charge our car. So there we go. It's showing us all the available charging stations that we can find along my route. Okay, now let's talk about the new multiple apps that they have added to the BYD App Store. Let's have a look at what new apps that they have introduced. So previously, there is only these three applications: browser, Amazon Music, and Stingray Karaoke. And then looks like we can do Zoom meetings in our BYD now and play a bit of arcade or listen to calm radio. And this is the one that I like most, YouTube. That's quick and it's installed. Okay, not bad. It looks like the YouTube app is fairly old version, but it's not that bad. I've learned about all my charging options and compare the two extremes of charging using my BYD. So there we go. The YouTube is running just fine. It's just that the download speed seems to be a little bit slow. Okay, up next, let's talk about the new notification sound with adjustable 3-level settings. Now, hopping onto the settings app, I realized they have done a little bit of a rearrangement of the user interface. The main menu is now all on the right side, and we even have a search bar to search for the menu that we want, which is great because on the driver side, I can now access the menu easily. So getting back to the notification sound, there it is, vehicle prompt volume. After I upgrade, as I drive, the hazard warnings sound, seatbelt fastening sound, and things like that, I realize it has been louder after the upgrade because by default it is set to medium after the upgrade. I think I still like the previous setting, which is just low. Soft and gentle is enough for me. So now let's talk about the lane departure assist switch added onto the convenience bar. So I think I know what convenience bar is. They have called this swipe down quick settings as the convenience bar, which makes sense because this is the place where we want to quickly switch our settings. So with this new arrangement, I think it's a lot better than the previous one. So with the previous one, there are two areas, and I can't remember what those areas are. This convenience bar is pretty good because they've just put everything on there. And if I can't find the ones that I'm looking for, I just need to press the custom button and I have all of them. So for example, I can set and switch on my interior lights. There we go, off my interior light, and so on and so forth. So with the lane departure assist, this is the one where I think previously this was not available on the swipe down quick settings or the convenience bar. So with this one, we can now switch off the lane departure assist very quickly rather than jumping into settings and try to switch that off. So for some driving condition in certain countries, I think this is very convenient. So something I noticed about this convenience bar is that if I try to switch the position of the buttons, I won't be able to move and customize the button. Now, I can press this button, add and remove more buttons onto the bottom row. I can switch the positions of the buttons on the bottom row. However, what about so this bottom row, we can switch the position, but not this top part. So they have permanently fixed these 8 buttons together with the volume and brightness control and only allow us to customize and switch the position of this 6th position. So right now, we only have 6 buttons to choose for our quick settings, if you like, and for any other buttons, we will need to press the custom button in order to access that button, which I think is okay. And with the bottom menu, we cannot switch the position of the buttons. Very interesting user interface decision. Now I've discovered a secret way to switch the position of the tiles at the bottom. So for example, this electronic stabilization control button is over here. I can bring it over here by swapping it with the button on top. So now it's over here. I'm not sure if that's the way that they have decided to let us change the position of the bottom tiles, but this is a way that I found out. Now, with this auto power on off function, I still don't know what is it. And even when I search on the menu, I can't find anything. So if you know what this auto power on off function is that they have added to this new version, let us know in the comments down below. So the next one is the password to drive function, which I think it's very useful. So inside settings, we go to locks and then go to locks again. There we go. This is the password to drive function. So with this one, we can set a pin. So for example, 7890, 7890. So let's give it a go. Imagine now I'm about to drive my car and I just stepped on the brake and it's challenging me with the password, which is great because I haven't even tapped the gear to drive position. So without this password, I won't be able to shift the gears. Let's try it out. I'm going to push it to drive. Nothing happens. I push it to reverse. Nothing happens. So I don't know why I only have 4 attempts, but let's do it. 17890. And now I can shift it to drive. There we go, it's in drive position now. I'm going to change it back to park position. And that's it. This password to drive is really good because imagine we have young kids and we are parked at a car park. We can let our young kids to come to the front to watch YouTube and have a play on the infotainment system or even play games on the infotainment system. And if the kid accidentally attempt to drive by stepping on the brakes and about to push to drive, it won't allow them to do it. And in order to reset the password, how do we do it? We will need to turn off the password to drive and turn it on again to set the new password. So as I turn it off, I'll be challenged to key in the current password, which is 7890. And now the password to drive is off. I can set my new password now by turning it on again. Now I'm going to set it to 1234. 1234. Obviously, we are not going to use such simple password where anybody can unlock. Now with the last one, the automatic activation of low beam and position lights during nighttime. Once again, I'm not sure what that is. I have searched through the light menu, but all these settings is available in the previous version. So I'm not quite sure what that is. Leave a comment down below if you know what that is. Thanks for watching this video and I'll see you in the next one.